where we shine a light on the stories that matter, stories that often go untold. Today, we revisit the case of Tyre Nichols, providing an update following the recent verdict. On May 7th, 2025, a Tennessee jury acquitted former Memphis police officers Tyre Bean, Demetrius Haley, and Justin Smith of all state charges, including second-degree murder, in the brutal death of 29-year-old Tyre Nichols. This verdict, delivered despite harrowing video evidence showing Nichols being beaten while defenseless, has ignited a firestorm of criticism and renewed scrutiny of systemic failures within the justice system. The acquittal was met with widespread condemnation. Civil rights leaders and Nichols' family decried the decision as a devastating miscarriage of justice, questioning how such clear evidence could result in no state-level accountability. The jury, selected from a region outside Memphis, deliberated for over 8 hours before reaching their verdict, a process that many argue was influenced by systemic biases and a lack of representation from the community most affected. This case underscores a troubling pattern where law enforcement officers are seldom held accountable for excessive use of force, particularly against Black individuals. Despite the officers' prior federal convictions for obstruction of justice and civil rights violations, the state trial's outcome highlights the challenges in achieving justice through the current legal framework. Despite the acquittal of 3 former Memphis police officers, Tyre Bean, Demetrius Haley, and Justin Smith, on state charges related to the fatal beating of Tyre Nichols, all 5 officers involved faced federal charges stemming from the same incident. 2 officers, Emmett Martin III and Desmond Mills Jr., pleaded guilty to federal charges, including deprivation of rights under color of law, resulting in death and conspiracy to obstruct justice. Their guilty pleas were part of agreements with prosecutors, wherein they also agreed to testify against their former colleagues. Sentencing for Martin and Mills is pending, with both facing significant prison time. The other 3 officers, Bean, Haley, and Smith, were convicted in federal court on various charges. Haley was found guilty of all 4 counts he faced, including civil rights violations and obstruction of justice. Bean and Smith were each convicted of witness tampering, but acquitted of more serious charges. Sentencing for these convictions is also pending. These federal convictions underscore the severity of the officers' actions and the systemic failures within the Memphis Police Department. The Department of Justice's investigation revealed patterns of excessive force and racial discrimination, highlighting the urgent need for comprehensive police reform. The fact that the 5 Memphis police officers involved in the fatal beating of Tyre Nichols were Black has prompted a critical examination of systemic issues within law enforcement. This incident underscores that police brutality is not solely a matter of individual prejudice, but is deeply rooted in institutional practices and cultures that can perpetuate violence regardless of the officer's race. Experts argue that diversifying police forces, while important, is insufficient to address the underlying problems. The culture within many police departments often emphasizes aggressive tactics and a warrior mentality, which can lead to excessive use of force. This environment can influence officers of any background to adopt behaviors that align with these institutional norms, sometimes at the expense of community trust and safety. The Scorpion unit, to which the officers belonged, exemplifies these concerns. Designed to target high-crime areas, the unit operated with aggressive strategies and minimal oversight, contributing to a pattern of excessive force and civil rights violations, particularly against Black residents. A U.S. Department of Justice investigation found that the Memphis Police Department engaged in discriminatory practices and used excessive force, highlighting the need for comprehensive reform. This case illustrates that meaningful change requires more than increasing diversity within the ranks. It necessitates a thorough reevaluation of policing strategies, accountability mechanisms, and community engagement to dismantle systemic issues and build a more equitable justice system. Thank you for joining us in revisiting the Tyre Nichols case. At Wide Eyes Media, we remain committed to bringing attention to underreported stories and advocating for justice and reform. Please like and share so we can continue to highlight the voiceless.